I care about the truth. I don't care about how people feel. If the stats say it was 58 plus weapons that was removed for the streets, that's in one weekend, that's 58 weapons that would have still been there.
Yeah. And not
Yes.
only that, there's so many other videos of people showing like the difference from what it used to be compared to what it is now, and them expressing how they feel they're way safer than what they were before. And it's just dozens of them, like confirming and reconfirming that this is a good thing. And these are Black people, these are white people, and different cultures that's all expressing the same thing. Like they do feel safer and they're glad that this is happening.
Okay, well, Anton, you're muted.
I don't know anybody that feels less safe that's not committing a crime when I see police officers.
Yeah, I don't like I was saying, I was just commenting on the video. I'm not in DC. If the crime is that, high, then obviously, yes, there needs to be something done. I was just talking about the factors of the people that aren't the people that aren't criminals also feeling uneasy. You're saying that the woman that spoke, she's not from DC, but still felt scared, so we shouldn't care about how she feels. I'm not saying I'm not saying we should be so emotionally led, but I think it is smart for a government and for policing to ensure that the citizens that they say that they are protecting actually trust them to do so, and they can see them doing that consistently. And unfortunately, there are people who feel, policing could be better, that sometimes policing is unfair to whoever. And so in this particular case, deploying more police presence, yeah, it can make people feel safe, but it can also make people feel unsafe. And if we can acknowledge that, oh, the people feel good about the police, it's okay to acknowledge the people that don't feel good about it. And I think assess both to make sure that, again, everyone involved feel safe with this
So,
increased
so let me
presence.
ask you a question. How would you suggest that we make people feel safer with more police presence?
You say what?
How would you, because I'm solutions based at the end of the day, how would you suggest that we make people feel safer with greater police presence?
Um, I don't know. So I'll use an example. Kamara brought up what you bring up, Hurricane Katrina. And I actually just recently saw the documentary that came out about Hurricane Katrina by Ryan Coogler. And it gives you a really great insight on why martial law was deployed for at that time, how things in New Orleans after that, how they totally just left those people to die. If I'm being 100 with you, if you care about what it was like, I would encourage all of you to just sit down and watch that documentary, because they talk to real citizens of New Orleans who were just done away for. But that's not my point. Excuse me. My point is that the people of New Orleans, that was a very hard time for them afterwards. They were trying to survive. They were left on roofs for days on end. Then they were moved to superdomes. They were promised buses. They were promised ways to get out for days. Nothing will come. Propaganda started to ensue, right? So the media formed it as if it turned from these people need our help to, oh my God, these people are criminals. Now, I understand there was looting that happened, but in that situation, you put those people in a situation that they didn't have a choice after waiting for days for help, right? Not saying that it's right, but the head of FEMA, that's why I would encourage people to watch this documentary, because the head of FEMA decided when it was time to actually deploy food and aid for the citizens at that time, he delayed it deliberately because he was across town getting food at a restaurant, and put in an email blast to the people that were on the floor, or I'm sorry, boots on the ground, that were at the Superdome, and said, oh, such and such, the head of FEMA is on his way to, dinner right now. We'll deploy that aid when we get to it, basically. So I'm saying this to say you're putting people in situations where they're looking to survive, and they're believing that you're going to help them, and you just don't. And when you have the opportunity to, and the reason why you don't is because of rumors, which were debunked. The chief head officer that was over Hurricane Katrina, that was in the media, he came out and said that he was wrong for carrying rumors and saying it in the media, which perpetuated propaganda to make it appear that these people who were trying to survive, trying to keep babies alive, trying to stay safe, were for some reason shooting at the cops that they were there trying to get help from. So
I don't see the relevance, and
I
don't see how you tie this back into what's going on in DC.
No, she's talking about the trust part of it. She's saying
No.
I
I understand what the question was. The question that I asked was, how do you get people to trust more policing in DC? And I'm still trying to make sure that
right. So I'm getting to it. I understand. Excuse me if I'm being long-winded. I'm gonna wrap it up in just a second. But if I am constantly cut off, it is going to kind of delay me. So if you could just let me get it out, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for your patience. What I was saying was that in forms of that, deploying the martial law at that time, it didn't build trust with the citizens that were looking to be helped. For the majority of the propaganda that was put out there about the violence and people are being killed deliberately and people shooting at helicopters, they were untrue. And this came out to be a fact. And aid was delayed because of rumors and lies that aid officials believed. And then when the police were deployed, they were pointing guns at babies. They were pointing guns at the citizens that were packed into these superdomes just looking for help. That wasn't a display of trust. It turned into, we're in this crisis situation and we're looking for help, and we've been waiting for help. And now rumors have ensued, and instead of actually confirming or denying the rumor, you go with the rumor, shift the narrative in the media to say that these are criminals that should be asserted like criminals, instead of actually helping the people that need to be helped. So I say all that to say, if we deploy more police in DC, right, we need to make sure that the police are not following propaganda or rhetoric that could harm innocent citizens. And we have seen this happen before with policing, with deploying a lot of police, that they sometimes just have a mindset that everybody is bad, and then they end up treating everyone as such, not actually going to the people that are causing the issues. So that's what I'm saying.
I still
it's basically starting with the police. I
think they should just build more trust and just lead with the trust. Maybe if you're gonna go out there on the streets, maybe not shoot, maybe not point guns at people when you're patrolling the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, have your gun, do your job, but everybody is just trying to live life. Everybody is walking around you is not a criminal. So there's no need to walk the streets with your gun blazing at people, is all I'm saying. And that's happened before.
So
I don't see
the relevance. I don't see the relevance. Katrina was a completely different situation.
It was very different.
Happening in DC. It is
North Carolina too.
Separate things.
But what I'm saying is the martial law was deployed for all the wrong reasons.
Not deployed in DC.
No, it wasn't deployed for the wrong reason at all. A lot of what you're getting from what all your information you're getting that from a movie.
No, I'm actually from real life.
I'm actually from Louisiana, sweetie, and I was there for Katrina in a different area of Louisiana. I was still in southern Louisiana, and our place was completely affected by Katrina. And our place doesn't get talked about in Lafayette, Louisiana, but New Orleans, I had a lot of friends from New Orleans that came and was displaced because of that. A lot of the stuff that you're saying is absolutely false. There was a lot of violence. There was a lot of people getting raped and killed. There was a lot of looting that was happening before the levee broke. Once the levee broke, that's when everybody was on their roofs. But it was literally a small time frame in between whenever people were committing crimes and breaking into people's businesses and stealing. And that was actually on video. We all saw it and we all heard the stories. And the people at the Superdome, they couldn't even get to the people at the Superdome. So a lot of the stuff that you're talking about from this documentary from Ryan Coogler, I'm sorry, but Ryan Coogler is not from New Orleans.
That were actually involved survivors that actually endured it.
Right, but that's still a documentary. That's only pieces of stories. Everybody there did not have the exact same experiences.
I know, because
so you can't just blanket. You can't just blanket people's experiences that they're having on a documentary and say, oh, all of this is true, and everything else that they're saying that they didn't see or didn't experience is false. No, that's inaccurate. People were committing crimes. Now, as far as shooting at police, I'm not going to sit there and say nobody was shooting at police, but I will say it was a very dangerous situation to where the government had to decide, okay, do we come in now? How do we come in this? And then by the time the levee was blown and broke or whatever, it was like too late. So it was just a lot of different things that was going on at once. And you can't really say, oh, just the government just did not want to help. And the government is just all bad, and the government this and the government that. Like you have to really take in a, you have to really take in.
We gotta go to the next chat.
Young black men are getting snatched off the streets of Washington, D.C., so this is not the time for us to be any quieter. This is the time to actually get louder. Because like this is literally that poem. Like they came for X and I didn't do anything. They came for Y, I didn't do anything. They came for Z, I didn't do anything. And then they came for me and there was no one there to do anything to stop them. There are a lot of black creators who have explained all of this much better than I can. But I feel like because my followers are a lot of different types of people, like I need to say this to you if you're following me, that if you feel that even slight catch in your throat, that slight hesitation to post, to speak out, to do something for these black men that are being taken off the streets, for the homeless that are taken off the streets, that is the white supremacist indoctrination that you grew up with. That's telling you to hesitate. That's telling you to not say something. That's telling you to hold your breath for a second. It's for me in kindergarten, where the kindergarten teacher just would not let the one black kid in our class move up the alphabet letter. It didn't matter if he got the letter right. She misheard it. In first grade, where he was the only person that our first grade teacher would just scream at with her entire being. It's being told your whole life in this white supremacist infrastructure, which by proxy, which means through this instrument, capitalism thrives, because capitalism in the end is the actual consumption of one's body and existence. Capitalism demands the enslavement of other people. Like capitalism is the reason why slave trade bloomed, came into existence. And so fighting against white supremacy means fighting against capitalism and speaking loudly for all of these people.
Oh,
so do you
God.
guys oh man.
No, I say no, man. Do you disagree with him?
1000%. What
Why?
Latinos gotta come out and no, because you gotta separate yourself. You gotta separate yourself. I'm not saying that the way that he's talking about it, the way that he's framing it, it's like all black people. That's why we all, because just because you're black, they're gonna come and get you because you're black. No, Latinos don't need to speak up about that. Latinos actually spoke up when the raid came, when you don't have no papers. All the Latinos, including me, like, well, you don't have no papers. So yes, go away. Come get them. My neighbors down the street right there. Yo, these bunch of Venezuelans right here up the street, they ain't got no papers, and there's like 12 of them living in the same apartment complex. Go get them. You gotta separate yourself from the people that are committing the crimes. And no, that doesn't mean the way that he's framing it, he's over generalizing everything.
A lot of Hispanics didn't feel that. Kermit, I'm listening to you, but a lot of Hispanics didn't feel that way when they were rioting in LA, when ISIS was coming to get them. They wanted Blacks to speak up. They wanted other races to speak up. So why is it that now we're having a moment? Why can't other races speak up like this or stick up for other minorities?
Well, in LA, most people in LA were the ones that were illegal. I mean, they were out in Atlanta and they were protesting up the street here too. They were in Atlanta. They were protesting no and all of that. But no, I think other people need to just separate themselves. And why is it the responsibility of other races to do that for you?
Anybody agree or disagree with her? Should other races be speaking up about the takeover that's going on in DC? Or
I mean, I feel like you have to be there to understand and to get involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Like in Washington, like I was gonna say before, everybody's like, oh, it's really bad, or you have all these liberals coming over and taking over our streets, but nobody actually knows but the people that live there. So it's kind of like it's kind of like just going with the flow when you know what I mean, like you don't really know what's going on, like with the liberals. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
so if it was happening in your city, then you would kind of speak up about it. You would speak.
I would, because I live here and I know, what's around me and I know what's like really going on. So everything is kind of like hearsay. People are saying in Los Angeles, oh, it's the illegals that are protesting, but it's really not, because they know that they're gonna, what I'm saying, it's like they're out there, they're gonna get caught. So they're not, they're not out there. And I think that having a lot of different people come in to cities like that and just disrupting, I feel, is just, I don't know, like we should,
Okay. Ellen, I see you shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head? Oh, you're muted. You're muted? Yeah, you're muted.
I missed like half the video.
You're muted, Ellen. Go ahead.
Okay. No, it's just, I vehemently disagree with everything that guy said. I mean, no one's just snatching up people for no reason off the streets of DC. If they are getting arrested, it's probably because they're committing a crime.
Bingo.
Just saying. And that, if I'm not committing the crime and I'm not involved, it's none of my business.
Okay.
What
about the people that aren't committing the crimes, though, that are being profiled?
If they're committing crimes, then they should be arrested.
Okay, so you think all of them are going to be guilty?
No, but if they are committing a crime,
okay.
Then they should be
so
arrested.
What about the wrongful people that are getting jailed, getting locked up? So should other people be speaking up for them?
Yes.
Like who's got wrongfully?
Who is going to jail and who's speaking up? People who.
Well, no, hold on. But we don't. What instances have people been wrongfully jailed? Because it's like we trying to solve for something that hasn't happened.
There was a guy up here I saw in the news a while ago, who was profiled and was taken away, and he actually was a U.S. citizen. And he had his papers. He had showed papers, and they apologized and everything. And they let him go. And the guy was like, "And I still vote for Trump." I'm like, okay. But you have to, it really does suck, because you have to prove that you're a
If there's
citizen.
somebody in DC that's been wrongfully jailed and wrongfully whatever, then who are they?
When it comes to situations like this, do you think that, let's say if it was something with the Hispanic community, I see more races protesting when it comes to situations like this than when it comes to Black communities when something's going on. I don't see other races really protesting when it comes to African American stuff going on compared
I
to
think
others.
that the other races spend the most time protesting stuff that has stuff to do with Black people.
Really?
Absolutely. If you look at
Oh,
city to city of what was happening during the George Floyd protests, if you look at what was happening with everything that was happening during the pandemic, if you look at footage that was on the ground, most of those people was not Black. Now you had, obviously, the news was showing pockets where there were a lot of Black people, and that doesn't mean that Black people wasn't out there. But it was a lot of other races that get involved, and some of them for several reasons. One of the groups of people that absolutely disgust me, and I speak about them all the time, are white apologists. I can't stand white apologists that feel the need to apologize for some shit that they didn't do, and often at times they super liberal. They got a lot of times they also have a bullnose ring. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy colored hair. Yeah.
Yeah, they got colored hair, septum, ring theory, all of that stuff. And so white people that are sympathetic to the Black need, those type of people aggravate me to my core. Because they always feel as though they need to mobilize on behalf of people, and all they do is continue to make things worse for situations that nobody asked for their help with.
Exactly.
And so I don't understand why, like in this video, he an Asian guy, and it's like, fam, what is the problem here?
Gay
You know what
Asian.
I'm saying? Like I'm trying, and honestly, I'm genuinely trying to understand how. And a lot of times, I'm gonna just be honest with you, it's liberal white women. It's liberal white women.
I agree.
It's gay white men.
Not me.
Liberal white women and gay white men
I think he's gay.
that are always.
Definitely
Let me
found
tell
it.
you how they finesse y'all. The way that they do it is they always look for a Black woman or a Black man. Most of the time, it's a Black woman to be the face of the movement. Y'all just become the poster childs. Y'all the court gestures that they use to get all of this dumb shit that we got going on inside of the community. Y'all was the poster child for feminism. You was the poster child for them to ultimately be designated as a minority or somebody that is actually looked at as a minority because they were a woman. In order to get that through, they had to use a Black woman. And Black women fell hook, line, and sinker and decided that they walked right into that whole feminism movement. They the ones that started breaking up their homes first, but we did it better.